Naval Health Clinic Quantico. Sergeant Major Griffin, Training and Education Command. Sergeant Major Michael Exlos, Manpower Management. Sergeant Major John Beckett, Officer Candidate School. Sergeant Major Justin Gruber, Wounded Warrior Regiment. Sergeant Major Thomas Korovic, Headquarters Battalion, Training and Education Command. Sergeant Major Victor Melendez, Marine Corps Information Operations Center. Master Gunner Sergeant Denise Shepard, Marine Corps Intelligence Activity. Dr. Pamela Young, Stafford County Board of Supervisors. The Honorable Daniel Cortez, National Veteran Support Alliance. Please rise as the Commander Trent Long, Chaplain, United States Navy, delivers the invocation and remain standing for a tribute to our fallen.
Our Heavenly Father, we're so privileged to have the opportunity to celebrate this 248th birthday of the United States Marine Corps. Help us to remain mindful that the goodness that the Corps has experienced is because of your benevolent hand. For those of us who are present here today, as we reminisce on the past, we do so in remembrance of those who cannot be with us because they have paid the ultimate sacrifice on distant battlefields. But Lord, I ask that you would help us not to be discouraged, that you would give us the strength to hold our heads up high with honor because of their sacrifice. Father, we are a people who love liberty. We are so proud to be called Americans, and we are so grateful that in the many times over the past 248 years during which the burden of preserving our republic has been laid upon the United States Marine Corps, the Corps has never faltered, but has stood true and held fast. Father, I pray that you would come alongside those of us in uniform to watch over us, protect us, and help us to continue to be good stewards of the Corps. Sustain our families who are often the silent heroes, and I pray that you would grant 248 more years. We pray these things in your holy name. Amen.
Only a few Americans choose the dangerous and necessary work of fighting our nation's enemies. As a consequence of that choice, some have paid the ultimate price, joining the honor roll of heroes who built the noble legacy of our Corps. For those of us who carry on that legacy, it is our obligation to honor those fallen Marines.
March! Counter march. March. Color guard. Hold. Order. Color. Take.
Attention. Forward, march.
Ladies and gentlemen, please be seated. Parade! Run!
Oh, ring.
On 1 November 1921, the 13th Commandant of the Marine Corps, Lieutenant General John A. Lejeune, directed that a reminder of the honorable service of the Corps be published by every command to all Marines throughout the globe. On the birthday of the Corps, since that date, Marines have continued to distinguish themselves on many battlefields and foreign shores, in war and peace. On this birthday of our Corps, therefore, in recognition of the will of the 13th Commandant, a reminder of the Corps' honorable service is published as follows.
On November 10th, 1775, the Corps of Marines was created by a resolution of the Continental Congress. Since that day, many thousand men have borne the name Marine in memory of them. it is fitting that we who are Marines should commemorate the birthday of our Corps by calling to mind the glories of its long and illustrious history. The record of our Corps is one which will bear comparison with that of the most famous military organizations in the world's history. During 90 of the 146 years of its existence, the Marine Corps has been in action against the nation's foes. From the Battle of Trenton to the Argonne, Marines have won foremost honors in war and in long eras of tranquility at home. Generation after generation of Marines have grown gray in war in both hemispheres and in every corner of the 7 seas, that our country and its citizens might enjoy peace and security. In every battle and skirmish since the birth of our Corps, Marines have acquitted themselves with the greatest distinction, winning new honors on each occasion, until the term Marine has come to signify all that is highest in military efficiency and soldierly virtue. This high name of distinction and soldierly repute, we who are Marines today have received from those who preceded us in the Corps. With it, we also receive from the eternal spirit which has animated our Corps from generation to generation and has been the distinguishing mark of the Marines in every age. So long as that spirit continues to flourish, Marines will be found equal to every emergency in the future as they have been in the past. And the men of our nation will regard us as worthy successors to the long line of illustrious men who have served as soldiers of the sea since the founding of the Corps.
The timeless and inspiring message of our 13th Commandant has left its mark in the hearts and minds of all Marines, past and present. By deed and act, from Belleau Wood to the Argonne, from Guadalcanal to Iwo Jima, from the Inchon to the Korean Armistice, from the hard fights from Vietnam to Desert Shield and Desert Storm, to this century's longest wars in Iraq and Afghanistan, and in hundreds of other places where Marines have distinguished themselves. The success which the men and women who have earned the title Marine have achieved in combat, and the faith they have borne in peace will endure forever. The Commandant and our many friends have added their hearty praise and congratulations on this, our 248th birthday. The Marine Corps' birthday cake cutting ceremony is important to all Marines, as it is an annual renewal of each Marine's commitment to the Corps and to the Corps' commitment to our nation's quest for peace and freedom worldwide. The birthday cake is traditionally cut with the Orphan sword, as a reminder that we are a band of warriors committed to carrying the sword so that our nation may live in peace. As is our custom, the first piece of cake will be presented to our guest of honor, Sergeant Major Carlos A. Ruiz, the 20th Sergeant Major of the Marine Corps. By tradition, the next piece of cake is presented to the oldest Marine in attendance. It is a sign of honor and respect according to the experience and seniority. This morning, the oldest Marine present, Marine Corps Base Quantico, is Lieutenant Colonel Anthony W. Burgos, who enlisted in the Marine Corps on 21 March 1988 and was commissioned on 14 August 1998. At the age departure of the official party, which will be followed by the playing of Anchors Away and the singing of the Marines hymn. Detail, attention! Present! Sword!
Forward. March.
Commanding Officer, Marine Corps Installations National Capital Region, Marine Corps Base Quantico, Colonel Michael L. Brooks.
Ladies and gentlemen, good morning. And happy birthday, Marines! I wish that each of you could stand where I'm standing and be able to look at this view. You know, one day, we're going to have this entire stadium filled and get back to how things used to be way back in the day. But I really appreciate everyone being here today. It's very important that we carry on our honored tradition. Distinguished guests, OCS candidates that's in the stands, and OCS staff, Marines, shipmates, and our civilian Marines, welcome to Marine Corps Base Quantico's 248th Marine Corps birthday cake cutting ceremony. I really appreciate again that you all are here today. Yeah, I'm kind of gonna, we're certainly to bury yet. I'm gonna call an audible real quick. For 248 years, our Marine Corps has trained thousands of young men and women. And they've done so taking on our core values of honor, courage, and commitment. There are a couple of things that I would like to, there's two passages that I would like to read to everyone. And I think that if you probably got about, I don't know, 8 or more years in the Marine Corps, you probably have heard this message before, or at least you're familiar with it. But for some of our younger Marines, I kind of want to share this message. And before I get into this message, I need to thank First Sergeant Freeman and everyone all the participants in this ceremony. If you could join me in a round of applause. This is really an appreciation. First Sergeant Freeman, everyone. If I could get a round of applause for the, I think, and I declare, the best Marine band in the Marine Corps Base Quantico Band. They hear me or can hear me up on the hill. But those gentlemen up on the hill, I've never seen this stadium look so clean and so neat. And I really appreciate your hard work in getting this ready. And then bear with me one more. I'd like to give a round of applause to our youngest Marine, 2005. Let's give her a round of applause. The first passage that I'd like to read for you is from 1957. It's from our 21st Commandant, General Randolph Pate. He wrote then to General Krulak, that's Lieutenant General Victor Krulak, who is the father of our 31st Commandant, Charles Krulak. But in 1957, he wrote a very short letter to General Krulak. And he said, or he asked, why does the U.S. need a Marine Corps? General Krulak took about 5 days before he responded with probably a 4 to 6 page letter. I won't read the entire thing, but please just bear with me for a couple of minutes here. In his response, he replied, the United States does not need a Marine Corps, mainly because she has a fine modern army and a vigorous Air Force. Her army fights on the ground, on any kind of ground, and she does it very well. Her Air Force fights in the air and also does it very well. Marines are designed to fight on the ground and in the air, just like the Army and the Air Force, but have no corner on the skill in either place. The Marines claim to have a mystical competence in landing operations, but they really don't. There are thousands and thousands of soldiers who have been carefully trained and thoroughly drilled in amphibious matters too. And they can do anything that the Marines can do. And he continues on for another page or two. But then here's the part that I want to focus in on. And I believe for me, as a Marine, it really hits home. You see, essentially, as a result of the unfailing conduct of our Corps over the years, they, the American people, believe 3 things about the Marines. First, they believe that when trouble comes to our country, there will be Marines somewhere who, through hard work, have made and kept themselves ready to do something useful about it, and to do it at once. They picture these Marines as men, and I remind you, this is 1957. They picture these Marines as men, individual components of a lean, serious, professional outfit. Second, they believe that when Marines go to war, they are invariably turned into a performance that is dramatically and decisively successful. Not most of the time, but always. Their faith and their convictions in this regard are almost mystical. The mere association of the word Marines with a crisis is automatic source of encouragement and confidence everywhere. And the third thing they believe about the Marines is that our Corps is downright good for the manhood of our country. That Marines are masters of a form of unfailing alchemy which converts unoriented youth into proud, self-reliant, stable citizens. Citizens into whose hands the nation's affair may safely be entrusted. I will tell you that the discipline that characterizes our institution's dependability also contributes to both our brotherhood and sisterhood, as well as our camaraderie. That letter continues for another page or two. The second reading that I want is closely tied to this, and I think it really complements it. Now, these two passages were not written at the same time. The first one, 1957, this next one, about 20 years later. And it was written by the late Lieutenant General Richard Schultz. General Schultz served in Korea, got out, and came back into the Marine Corps for the Vietnam War, where he was awarded the Silver Star for gallantry. As Lieutenant General Schultz, he received the Silver Medal while being attacked by a large North Vietnamese army force and under intense hostile mortar and rocket-propelled grenades and small arms fire, pinning down his command group. He continued to maintain close contact with each of his units for tactical employment, but simultaneously, he coordinated and directed all actions of the headquarters group of all MOSs. And he inspired his command post with such an aggressive fighting spirit among his men that the North Vietnamese assault was repulsed and 35 enemy soldiers were killed. He shared that there are two qualities that are most important for a Marine. One, a sense of humor. Yes, a sense of humor. To always maintain our individual and unit discipline. That's the second thing. A sense of humor to deal with both the tough and sometimes frustrating situations we find ourselves in, but also to be disciplined at all times to always accomplish the mission. Of the two, discipline is the foremost quality of a Marine, as the operations of the Corps are based entirely on discipline. It is the rock upon which we build our culture and our institution. A culture and an institution totally focused on winning our nation's wars. Because discipline is so critical to the success of our Corps, both in garrison and in combat, as leaders, we all must foster and sustain a climate of discipline while always enforcing our rules and regulations. For every time we fail to do so, it is equivalent to taking a hammer and hitting the Corps' rock of discipline. If this happens too often, too frequently, as it has happened during our history, the rock, our discipline, will crack, and we will be diminished as an organization, and will be unable to do those things that our nation expects of us. And just to make sure that we're all on the same page when it comes to discipline, it is defined as to teach. Self-control. To teach with an expectation of a certain type of performance as an outcome. And then last, to hold accountable. So now that we're all on the same page, this is my 36th Marine Corps birthday that I will be celebrating. There are some other more experienced folks in the crowd. I won't point to them, but they're probably not in the stands with you, but maybe behind me. So why did I decide to bring up those or read those two passages for you? We all joined the Marine Corps for different reasons. And we all had our certain perceptions of what the Marine Corps was going to mean for us. When we landed at OCS, or at Paris Island or San Diego and got on those footsteps, we had a decision to make. Are we going to take the red pill, or are we going to take the blue pill? Well, I see that you all here, so you must have chose the red pill. So what does that mean? Maybe during your course of being in your career being a Marine, maybe just like back then, our leaders were concerned about the relevancy of the Marine Corps. They were concerned about the discipline that current day Marines had. I'm here to tell you that that has always occurred. We all have those concerns, and those are good, healthy concerns to have because it keeps our attention. Inspect what you expect. I would say to you that we're just fine. Our all-volunteer force that make up DOD, we're fine. We're going to be fine. But I leave you with three things. The discipline that we have cannot be taken for granted. We cannot assume that it will always be there. We have an individual part to play in that. As leaders, if you're not in a leadership role, then as an individual, we have to make it our priority to ensure that we're doing the right thing. So one, be ready. Be ready. Be ready mentally, spiritually, and physically. It's coming. It's coming. Be ready. Two, this has always been a people's business. It will always be a people's business. And we need to make sure that we keep people in the front. Respect each other. Challenge each other. Hold each other accountable. Become better together. And then the third thing, and then I'll get off this field, and I'll call Sergeant Major Barry up here so he can introduce our guest of honor, the person that he really came here to see. But the third thing that I ask you to do, or to continue to do as Marines, is to continue learning what you don't already know. Don't be satisfied. There's lots of stuff to learn about our Marine Corps, lots of traditions that for one reason or another, maybe you haven't been introduced to it. So Sergeant Major Barry, if you could come on up here. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for your time, thanks for listening, and thank you for being here. Thank you.
All right, good morning, ladies and gentlemen, distinguished visitors, Marine sailors, families, and friends. Thank you so much for coming to this year's cake cutting ceremony. I think it's only fitting that we celebrate 248 years of an illustrious Corps right here in historic Butler Stadium, where 102 years ago, almost to the day, it was during the fall, the 3rd Commanding General of Marine Barracks Quantico, you may have heard of a Major General Smedley B. Butler, grabbed a few hundred Marines, some hand saws, shovels, picks, and some wheelbarrows and started clearing this area and building what is now known as historic Butler Stadium. Very awesome. Well, this morning I have the extremely easy yet distinct pleasure of introducing today's guest of honor. I say that it's extremely easy because if you've ever met Sergeant Major Ruiz, he is one of the most authentic, compassionate, humble, personable, and contagiously positive individuals, let alone Marine leaders, that you have ever encountered. How's that for setting the bar low, huh, Sergeant Major? But you all know if you've met him, that is all accurate. I met Sergeant Major Ruiz a decade ago. We were attending a 1st Marine Division reunion at Camp Pendleton at the Pacific Views Event Center. It's the first time I engaged in conversation with him. We had the opportunity to speak to and engage with 3 generations of Blue Diamond Warriors, which was very humbling in and of itself. But it wasn't until I was here at the Cornerstone course here in Quantico, which is a 2-week PME for new commanders and sergeants major, where he happened to be my group mentor for 2 weeks. And that's where I figured out why he is such an influential individual. I truly believe he took the best of what leadership style is: authentic, servant, transformational, charismatic, and inspirational. The best traits all those leadership styles have to offer and made it into his own, which is not surprising why he was selected to be in the position he currently is. So we're very excited to see what Sergeant Major Ruiz and our Commandant does over the next 4 years. And without further ado, I'd like to introduce to you today's guest of honor for our cake cutting, my friend, my mentor, my man, and our 20th Sergeant Major of the Marine Corps, Carlos Alberto Ruiz.
Alberto. You notice I said Alberto. It's Alberto. You don't mind. Can I come close to you? Yeah, so if you, I know you don't want to be sitting there anyway, so if you want to come to the bleachers, you can. I'm not going to stay there. And you can come here. You can come over here.
No one said sit down. Sit down. Around your circle. You too. Get on your feet right now. 360. I'm gonna say happy birthday. You say happy birthday back, and you're gonna blow me off this thing. Happy birthday, Marine. Now turn around, shake somebody's hand, introduce each other. Listen. It's beautiful from back there. It's beautiful. It is. And I appreciate all the hard work and everyone who took the time to put the chairs up and all that good stuff and putting you here. I appreciate it. It looked good, yeah? But when I was standing right here, it was really hard to hear. And then when you are standing there and everyone's up to the right, it's just weird. And now I get to be in a position when it's weird, I get to fix it, right? I don't even know what I'm going to say. But here's what's on my mind right now. Whatever it took. Whatever it took.
Whatever it took. Whatever it took for you to get here this morning. If I could just try to find a way to connect with your lives here. I don't know where you had to park. It was probably really annoying. You probably, some of you drilled, got in a formation and marched here. Some of you got bussed here. Some of you slimed here and wished you were being drilled. And then those of you who were being marched, you were thinking, oh, I wish I was sliming. And you have this moment of like, why? We already had a ball, or we're about to have a ball, why come here? And someone says, because I'm telling you to, right? And you're like, okay, well, will there be cake? Will there be snacks? Yes, there's cake right there. And, you know, maybe this morning, some of you who, I see kids, I see families.
You know, this morning maybe
didn't go so well, and kids spilled all their breakfast everywhere. You got to eat no breakfast, and you had to drop off kids at daycare, and you wrote your last check, the last of your monies to child care, and you're wondering how you're going to make the next paycheck. And you have all these worry. You have this worry about your beloved other person that you have in your life. You're worried about your children, you're worried about your work, you're worried about how you're going to perform. Will you be there for your fellow Marine? Will you go unnoticed today so no one can get on my butt and I can just get through the day? And there's some of you here who even today, after years and years, and that's the people who are probably sitting over there, who are what I like to call institutionalized. You ever seen Shawshank? No? You need to see Shawshank.
institutionalized.
Institutionalized. And that's me. Right? And then if you look around, there's like the people, weird people in civilian attire. Right? Yeah, weird people in civilian attire who long ago put on a uniform, this kind of uniform, And then you still come. You still come to these kind of events when you don't have to. So I'm watching you and you're like, in my mind I'm like, what organization in the globe exists today that has this kind of power on people? That whatever it is that led you to OCS, the Yellow Footprints, the academies, that it is still burning bright in your souls. That's pretty cool. That's pretty awesome. Would you not agree? This isn't a ball speech. You're gonna have a guest speaker that you're never gonna remember ever again. Come to your ball. And what this is just give you some perspective, some context to what my life is this last 90 days. Of how that fire in me has been stoked all over again. In my billet that you put me there, that I get to meet with allied and partners, senior enlisted leaders. And they revere you, they respect you so much. And I asked, are you talking about US Marines, our Marines? Yes, your Marines. Why is that? All they're asking me in the comment is, get more Marines to our country. Get your people close to my people so they can grab on to whatever it is that you've created for the last 248 years. Hoorah? Hoorah! And then the other service chiefs, the Army, the Air Force, and everyone who's failed to make recruiting and retention. Can I get hoorah? How do you do it? What is the secret sauce, Sergeant Major of the Marine Corps? Why is it that you can make it and no one else is making it? I literally sat in the room with the Secretary of Defense yesterday talking about recruiting and retention. And why is it that the Marine Corps can make it? What are you doing to make it? There's no answer. The answer is the people. The shoulders of the people that you stand on who put on a uniform decades ago. They held their standard. They did their part and they handed it over to you. And we're going to hand it over to you. There is this one Sunday. This was last Sunday, I can't even remember. I got to go to Arlington National Cemetery where this group of volunteers would come and put Eagle, Globe, and Anchor little flags on Marines' burial sites. And if you can picture this long line of cars waiting to go into the cemetery of just strangers. Of strangers that drove thousands of miles to reach down this little plastic little tub and grab a little flag and go find the US Marine marker, read it, take a moment, put it nice and cover in line, hoorah, and go find another. Look, what possesses people to drive thousands of miles to put a little flag there? It's pretty cool. It's pretty awesome to belong to an organization like this. And so when you have all these worries about your day, when your day gets overwhelming, you tend to lose the best version of yourself and what it was that led you to want to put on this uniform. There's room in this organization for rule followers, hoorah. Hoorah. Rule followers. Hoorah. Those are the people who maintain the status quo, who uphold the standards. I couldn't find a better word for rule followers in my brain just a second ago. For Marines, who hold the standard, who maintain the status quo, who maintain our professionalism, the discipline, who talk about all the things that the colonel was talking about, to actually do it. To be who we actually say we are. And then there's also room in this organization for mavericks. Who's a maverick? Raise your hand. If you raise your hand and you're a maverick, then you're not a maverick. There's room in this organization for mavericks. Now these are not people who don't uphold the standards. What I'm talking about, these are the people who keep pushing us forward, who question and challenge the institution because they love the institution, who say, no, we can be better here, we can do better there. Your assumptions are incorrect, sir. Staff Sergeant, you're wrong. The Mavericks, Marines, they belong in one place. This is a place where you can fall flat on your face and get back up, and you will pay. Socially, financially, whatever it is, but if you do the job of a Marine, if you uphold the standards, you will get back into a fight. You will get back into our team. It is not okay to tap out. Hoorah. You are in the human being business, and you are not perfect, and I am not perfect. I am standing right here with no cover out of race. And so when you spend so much time living up to such a reputation of 248 years, one does not want to be the one that holds it back. But the beautiful part about being a Marine is when you have reached that standard, how do you make others better? If you can do that for me, if you can do that for them, that is the secret sauce. When my former Marines are running around base and they see a Marine in uniform that's not acting, walking, talking like a United States Marine, you have my permission to snatch them up. And the other way. You hold each other accountable. Because you, who are in the audience here, and a little bit up here, not so much back there, they're a little older. You inherit the future. I got the present. I will hold it down for as long as I can. Hoorah? Hoorah! But it is up to you to push the Marine Corps forward, to be ready to go. You're supposed to be in the fight 4 years from today. What will you do? The Marines that are in boot camp today will be sergeants and staff sergeants. How will they fight? How will you lead them? People think you're 8 foot tall. And I don't try to dissuade them otherwise. You are. When there's 2 of you, you can hold off a whole Chinese horde. Hoorah? Hoorah! And you will, because you have no choice. I will jack you up. I come here to tell you that I'm proud of you, for all of you who sit side by side, that work together day in and day out, pay attention to each other, see each other. If you hold a high standard, teach others. And that's how we get better. Hoorah! Hoorah! Happy birthday, Marines. I am proud to wear a uniform alongside of you. The Commandant and I are proud to wear a uniform the likes of you. We have to do something badass with it tomorrow. Hoorah! Hoorah! Happy birthday, Marines. Happy birthday, Major! No. I like that. Would you do me another favor? We're gonna sing the Marines hymn one more time. Listen, stop moving, don't move. What I want is the band, where you at, band? Just start it, and then just go cold. And then I want to hear everyone's voices. And I want the gym to be scared. Anyone who knows me knows, if you're not loud, we're gonna do it again. It's okay to be weird. Just don't be a creeper, hoorah. Get on your feet. We're gonna sing the first paragraph and that's it. It's not that hard. But it's okay to feel that thing in the back of your neck and feel that pride stoke your beautiful bodies, hoorah? Okay, band, you ready? Can I get a cover? Because otherwise, nobody's so good.
One last thing. Sorry, you got to come on down, son. Ladies and gentlemen, please be seated.
Oh, sorry. We're back to ladies and gentlemen.
All right, Sergeant Major. All right, Sergeant Major Ruiz, we got you a token of our appreciation for you coming out here today. It reads November 7th, yeah, you're probably wondering how I got those chevrons, huh? That's right, no, exactly. November 7th, 2023, from the Marine sailors and civilians of Marine Corps Base Quantico to the 20th Sergeant Major of the Marine Corps, Sergeant Major Carlos A. Ruiz. Thank you for celebrating the United States Marine Corps' 248th birthday with us as our distinguished cake-cutting guest of honor at the historic Butler Stadium. We are extremely humbled that you have graced us with your leadership, words of wisdom, and friendly personality. You are the epitome of an inspirational servant leader, and because of that, it is no wonder that you are the Corps' top enlisted leader. Again, on behalf of all 27 Lieutenant Commands and the numerous civilians that support them, we appreciate everything you have done and continue to do for the Marine Corps, but more importantly, the defense of our beloved nation. Fair winds and following seas, not that you're going anywhere. Semper Fidelis.
Thank you. John. Very nice. We gotta collect $5 at the end. I love you. Thank you. Hoorah.